Welcome everyone to the House of Hoosier Field of 68 podcast. I am your host, former Hoosier, AJ Guyton, and today we have an extra special guest to me because I had the opportunity to help this young man get acclimated to the campus of Bloomington, Indiana, way back in 1999, 2000 when he was being recruited.
Yeah.
Give it up to my brother AJ, my namesake, AJ Moye. What's up, baby? How you doing?
Going good, man. Doing good.
Good, man. You looking good.
Blessed.
You looking in shape.
Oh yeah, man. I was just working out on the gun, like with Wes Slacker. He's a D1 player. He played for me in high school. He plays at Dartmouth now.
Okay.
So I was over there working out with him, and then working out with a 6'8" two guard I got at my high school now, who'll be D1 next year.
Oh,
so
okay.
We're just working, getting
that work in.
But I've been working since six this morning.
Working dang. Okay. We're gonna get into that. We'll definitely have you expound on that. What you got going on now. But once again, this is personally your personal favorite of mine. You was the first one I want to pick to get this started because I felt like our dialogue will be genuine, it'll be right, and fans would enjoy listening to our experiences and listening to us talk. So, man, I appreciated watching you play, man. I was in the league when you was getting it in. So I got a chance to brag a little bit, you know what I mean? And to watch you guys have a lot of success, guys that I played with, Tom Coverdale and these dudes, man. And two people, there's two people I wish I would have played with, and it's you and Jared Jeffries, because we be hanging that banner instead of playing the championship.
It'll definitely be a banner up, man. It'll definitely be a banner up.
Yeah, you got one up. It's still there, but we would have had that first place. And I look back, I'm like, I should have. It all goes back to high school, man. I should have reclassed in high school. I should have stayed up my freshman year, stayed a freshman, and I would have came right in with y'all. I got a chance to hoop with y'all, but God don't make mistakes, so we good.
I'm telling you, but man, I will say this, man. I only have one regret about IU, man, because you know why I went to IU.
Yep, Bob Knight.
Do you know why?
Bob Knight.
Yeah, man. So that's the thing. I missed the fact that I didn't get to play for him because, I really went there to learn under him. You know, I really wanted to be, get that tutelage, and I really wanted to learn how to play the game the right way, what I thought was the right way. And I'm a guy, I thrive in situations like that. So I really, genuinely, man, to this day, I really miss not playing for Coach Knight. You know, and I love Coach Davis. I love Coach Trelo. I love Coach McDonald. Love Coach Thomas. Love Coach Panaggio. You know, love all the coaches I had, man. But I really want to play for Coach Knight, man.
Absolutely. You his type of player, man. You're Quinn Buckner. You're Jim Thomas.
Exactly.
You are exactly what we needed going as a player that I needed, that guy that I can look over to the right and say, he got Morris Peterson locked up over there. We good over there.
Yeah.
I got Oakley. Now I can just, you know what I'm saying? And just timing, man. But I mean, you were fantastic at IU. So I want to go back a little bit, man, and just talk about a little bit about your upbringing, man, and what the stuff that was molded into you that created the monster in AJ Moye.
Well, man, it was like this. Now, I'll say one thing. You know, growing up in our time, you know what I mean? Kids were more susceptible, and we really applied ourselves to multiple sports, right? So, man, I played football, basketball, baseball, tennis, soccer. Like, man, I might have played about 8 or 9 sports. And so I didn't really start taking basketball like serious, like every single day, work out until I was probably in, maybe 9th or 10th grade. Right. And so when I was about in 8th grade, I was talking with a coach one day, and I'm like, Coach, I'm better than these guys. You play a couple of them in front of me, and why? Right. And he was like, well, listen, AJ. And then I was talking to the coach. He said something in my head. I went home. I told my mom the story. My mom, I said, no, Mom, I'll probably be about 6 or 7. Right. He said, what about when practice over? I said, no, practice over. I go home, Mom. I'll be out.
Right.
She's like, AJ, she said, be the first one in the gym She told me to be there an hour and a half before practice, and she told me to stay an hour after practice and work on my game. My mother told me that, right?
Wow.
And so I started doing that, and then that got me. And then when I got to high school, I got to about 14, 15. See, my dad played at Marquette like in the 60s.
Okay.
And so my dad was like, yo, you're going to come out here in the summer and you're going to work. So my dad had me out in California all the summers, and I was working like 8-10 hours a day, man. I was really working.
Right.
And that transformed me real quick.
I can see right there is that's where you got that grind from. I was going to ask you which one of your parents and what happened with you coming up, which one of your parents instilled that grind in you that need to work for what you and earn, eat what you can kill type of attitude. Which one you get that from?
Oh man, at Killer, when people tell me stories about my dad, they say one game he played in high school, they say he grabbed the first 13 rebounds of the game, like the first 13, like on either side. You know, everyone tells me that story. My granddad told me that story. My uncle told me that story. And then with my mom, they say she was feisty. My mom played softball, and they called her Little Hank Aaron. She knocked everything out the park. And, you know, she was barking at people and mean. So I come from two athletic parents. That both were like feisty. Yeah. And then I got a kind of like a maniacal personality. So it's like no matter what it is, it's like I remember solitaire, right? Yeah. I played my mom in solitaire like when I was like 15, and she used to smoke me. And so I just started playing solitaire every day, like every second. When I wasn't playing basketball, I was playing solitaire, and I learned that. And then it was a Rubik's Cube. Then I learned that. And then so it's always like whatever it is I'm doing, I have a maniacal type of personality where like I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this if it kills me, I'm gonna get it.
No doubt. Now, as I've gotten older, I'm 42 now, and do you find yourself hearing these embellished stories about yourself? Like I remember as a kid, dude came up to me and said, "Hey man, I remember you scored 88 points in a grade school game." And so now I'm starting to think as I get older, like, damn, so how many of these stories is really true that they be saying about
you know what, man? I say this, all my stories true.
Right.
Because like the other day, like this kid, he came up and talked to me and he asked me, because he was like, man, how many threes do you think you hit in a high school game? Right. I told him 17. I look, one game in high school, I was 17 to 33. You don't play but 32 minutes. Dang. I shot 33 threes in high school one game.
Wow. You got to put that game on YouTube.
I had to really look. I looked it up and I really did that.
You got to get that game. You got to get that game.
But then there's a whole lot of stories about like dunks I had on people that just they grow bigger and bigger.
They get bigger and bigger. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It'd be partly true.
60 from the free throw line. I'm
I remember I scored 60 points, but I don't remember 80. Like, but then, you know, as your ego, you let it go. You're like, all right, cool. That's true. So, but I thought about that when you saw about your father and you said the stories you heard. It was like, man, I'll be often wondering. Is it true?
I to this day, I don't believe that happened.
Right, for sure.
Like, you can't grab the first 13 rebounds. I was like, that ain't happening.
You the only person, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But you know what? But you know, AJ, it's like when we're playing, we don't really look at it. And even when we retire, right? When you retire, like your first 3 to 4 years after you retire, like I know me personally, like I love basketball. So I was in the gym like just hooping, but I wasn't like taking it serious. I really didn't have any serious aspirations with it. So I was more laid back. But then you get that itch, you know, you miss it.
For sure.
And you start teaching and you start helping. Yeah. And then that's when the stories, they really come into vogue.
They come into vogue. You're 100% correct. I'm letting it go though. Whatever y'all say, that's what happened. I'm cool with it. So, you know, going forward, man. So, talk about your high school experience. Like, at what point when you got to high school did you realize that you was different from everybody else?
Well, I'll tell you this, man. So, here's how me playing football in high school even started. Because I didn't start playing football until like 8th grade. Now, I played in the neighborhood all the time. Right. Yeah. But I played in 8th grade because I found out that the varsity basketball coach was also an assistant football coach. So I just said, I'm going to play wide receiver. Right. And so as a freshman, even though I was a freshman, I had about I had like 12 touchdowns and I had 17 2-point conversions. I was like that.
We can look that up.
One
though.
day it was one day it was raining, right?
Yeah.
So we went to the gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we had all of our gear on. We didn't have cleats on, of course. We had tennis shoes on, but we had our full practice pads, helmets, all that on. Mm-hmm. And the coach is like, yo, I hear you can jump. I hear you can dunk. He's like, why don't you dunk it then? All right. Then I get the ball. I bounce it off the ground, catch it in the air, put it on my numbers. I'm talking about I got the full everything on, and I dunk.
Dominique Wilkins that thing.
And then he's like, yeah, he's like this. He's like, no, do it again. And then I bounced it off the ground. I 360'd and I dunked. And I promise you, I went about 2 more weeks, and then he got me off the football field.
He's like, no,
he had me playing basketball. Yeah, and I'm telling you, hey, my football coach to this day, Dallas Allen, hey, he still ain't talked to me, man.
Hey, they take that personal, don't they, boy? Like,
yeah, they took it personal.
Choice. That's tough. You imagine being a 15, 16-year-old kid, you got to make that decision because, I'm sure you had success on both sides. You doing well in football, you doing well in basketball, and that football coach always going to look at you be like, no matter what you did at the college level, you could have went to the NFL. I'm sure he say that to you.
I think honestly, I probably would have been in the NFL, man, because I was like, but my heart was basketball. But like I'm saying, with basketball, I remember, and then he told me I could be on varsity, but then he put me in the 9th grade practice. Right. I was in 9th grade practice, maybe like 7-8 minutes. I was dunking on everybody. Then they sent me to JV practice. JV, same thing. I was dunking on everybody. Then I was on varsity, and then I was like the last man. And then 2 weeks of practicing, I was like captain and starting. Dang. So it was like it happened quick. Yeah, and I remember my first game I played against I can't even remember these cats' name, man. I think Darren Calhoun and Deion Daniels. But they were Darren Calhoun was like one of the top 5 in Georgia, and Deion Daniels was like all state. Okay. And I think I had like 31 or 26 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna be pretty. I'm gonna be all right.
You're gonna be decent. Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys had a lot of success in high school. You had won a state championship your junior year. And when you came back that senior year, what was the story? What happened? Like, why not the back-to-back? Why not the repeat?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, man. We won about 56 or 55 in a row.
Okay.
So we ended up losing like 2 or 3 games my senior year, but so I love him to death. Pac-Man Jones,
you know Pac-Man
in the NFL.
Yeah,
but people don't know Pac-Man was all state in basketball. He's a great point guard. Man, Pac-Man went crazy on me, man. He was in 10th grade when I was a senior.
Oh,
Pac-Man was 4 for 21. My last game. Now, mind you, the team I played, they played a defense that was never seen before. Right. They played a boxing one. Uh-huh. Now, I'm not lying, AJ. I'm not lying. The box was on me. And they had one person guarding the rest of the team. I'm not lying. The box was on me. Whenever I had the ball, I had a joker on me, a joker to the left, a joker to the right, and a joker right there in the middle. It was insane. I never seen anything like that.
Yeah, that's hard.
I was probably like 7 for 9 that game. I wasn't forcing the shots. I think I had a triple-double.
Yeah.
But I'm like, Pac was shooting everything, man. I was like,
Pac-Man Jones. Y'all get that? Pac-Man Jones took Mr. Moye out of the state championship. That I would never.
Hey, listen, but look, and Pac when Pac was a senior, he won the state championship for our school. So I love him for that.
I'm looking that up. I got
him and Earl Calloway. So Earl Calloway that played at IU.
They played together.
He played with me in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, Earl played with me in high school.
Okay.
So that's why Earl went to IU, because I told Dave about him, because he went to New Mexico State out of high school.
Okay.
Then he went JUCO.
Mm-hmm.
And then I told Dave, I said, Dave, you need to get him, man. That's my boy.
Right.
So it was that.
That's crazy. So after you were Player of the Year, you also won 2 AAU national championship. What AAU team did you play?
Yeah, I did. Atlanta Celtics, baby.
Okay.
Green and gold.
Okay. Y'all, what notable names played with you?
Well, see, I played up 1 year. So one year it was Joe Johnson, Darnell Harvey, Jeff Newton, Jameson Brewer. Okay. It was a lot of talent. And then my year it was me, Demetrius Smith. He played at Alabama. Lavarticus Atkins. He played at SMU. Robert Swain. He played at UConn. He does amazing things now in basketball. Like he's one of the biggest trainers in Georgia. We had Dennis Young. He went to Marist. We had Gabriel Lee, big man. He went to UMass. We had Emory Walton. He went to Campbell. So we had a lot of guys, but we were playing kind of like the Warriors small ball back then. Like, man, we might have started like 4-6-4 cats and one big man who was like 6'8", and we just ran people off the court.
I like that kind of basketball. I mean, that's the kind of basketball that help you guys spread the floor and end up winning championships.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing. Like all of us could shoot.
All y'all can knock it in. And after your high school career, what ended up being your top 5 schools? Or did you?
Oh man, it was Indiana, Duke. It was Indiana, Duke, UConn, UMass. I'm gonna tell you, when UMass was about to win that national championship with Cal, I love. Yeah, I love Lou Rowe. I love Marcus Camby. I love Edgar Padilla. Yeah, I love them cats. And then
Carmelo Travieso.
I think my last one might have been Kentucky or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't sure though. I don't think it was Kentucky.
Who sparked the recruitment?
I think it might have been UCLA actually.
Oh, okay. Who ended up sparking the recruitment to bring you to IU? Who was the first coach to recruit you?
Oh, Mike Davis, of course.
Oh, Coach Davis.
Right, and then he had I talked with Coach Davis. And then Coach Knight might have came down like 2 weeks later. And Coach Knight went to my high school game. This was crazy to me, man. Yeah. So the game Coach Knight came and saw me play in high school, right? I might have had my second or third lowest scoring game in my high school career. Yeah. I wasn't off. It's just the team was like, that's what I'm saying, teams, they played them junk defenses on me. But Coach Knight was there for like 5 minutes. So the first thing that happened was like I ripped the point guard. I went down. I could have dunked, but I kind of scooped it back to our big man Trail, and he dunked.
Yeah, him dunk.
Played defense again, ripped the point guard again. I came down. I went up for a layup or something. I missed it, or I got stripped. But then I ran down the court. I blocked the shot, dribbled down again, went down the lane and dunked. Coach Knight left, man. Coach Knight was at my game maybe 3 or 5 minutes. And I'm thinking like, oh, man. I'm thinking like, man, like, he ain't like me, this, and this. Man, as soon as the game over, Coach Knight offered me. And then the thing is, they say when Coach Knight wants you, because he was such an OG in the game, they say everybody else just backed off. I promise you, like most of the schools that recruited me, they backed off once they heard Coach Knight offer me. Dang. And then I wanted to go there though. I love what because Coach Knight kept it 100. Like, man, I had schools, man. Like I don't want to get no coach in trouble because these guys still going, some of them. Right. I had a school that called me and said, "Yo, AJ, there's like a Explorer Park around the corner. It's 50,000 in it. It's for you. I promise you." And my mom was on the phone. My mom like, "No, bye." And then I had one coach, prominent coach. He's not at the school he's at now, but he was like, "Yo, you don't have to go to class. All you gotta do is just come to school here and you can play." My mom's like, bye. So I had like 2 or 3 schools like that. Yeah. And Coach Knight, he was there at my house, and he told my mom, he looked her in the eye and said, "Listen, I can't promise you I'm gonna give your son the world. I can't promise you this. I can't promise you that. But I will promise you that he will graduate with a degree, and that if he comes there and he fulfills all the expectations that we have for him, and he said, I think real highly of him. I think that me and him, I think we can win a national championship every year he's there." And I was like, boom, sign me up. Like, how can I go? Right. You know what I mean? Because that's all I was about was winning. So I think he knew that. He knew that's all I cared about was winning. Yeah,
the same speech. I didn't get that, but he never came down to Peoria to see me play. You was 5-star.
I didn't see you play?
Nah, you was 5-star. I was 3.5. My story. my simple.
Hey, but listen, how? Hey, but AJ, I got one question. Right. How, man? How? Because AJ, listen, man, your ball handling is wizardry, man. It's insane. Like I used to watch you all the time, man. Every time you played, I watched. You can ask Jeff Newton, man. I used to talk about you so much all the time, man. Even when he was about to go, I said, man, you get to play with AJ, man. You gotta go get to play with AJ. I'm gonna come the next year, but at least you get to go play with AJ now. Like, bro, but how did you get like so crafty? Because you were the first cat that I've seen with a hesitation.
Right.
Like everybody hezos right now, but you were hezoing 30 years ago, 40 years ago, man. How did you get there?
Man, it was a development process for me. I wasn't in grade school, I was okay. I just loved to hoop. And then in high school, I was okay, just loved to hoop. And then I remember my high school coach pulled me aside one day. He was like, yo, if you want to go to college, right? You want to go to Division, you want to play Division I basketball. Because we had another guy from Peoria named Chris Reynolds who had played at Indiana. I don't know if you ever met Chris.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, he was an AD there for a while. He's an AD at Bradley now, doing a great job for Bradley. Shout out Chris Reynolds. But he was like, you want to go to college? And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, you got to do something to separate yourself from everybody else. He's like, it's 1,000. No, he's like 1,000,000 6-foot guards that want to play Division I basketball. What you going to do that's different than what they do? So from my freshman to my sophomore year, I lived in the gym 7 days a week. I started watching Isaiah Thomas ball handling drills. I started trying to do that stuff. I started shooting every day. And all of a sudden, and I'm a big believer in that. When someone puts the work in, God will bless them with the physical attributes they need to be successful.
Won't he, man?
If they if you put the work in, the true work in, it's going to be a light on you. And then once I started working, I started to grow a little bit and everything just aligned. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I got something. So I just kept being a student of the game. Tim Hardaway, Isaiah Thomas, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Magic. I'm just trying I am trying to do it all.
I saw every one of them in you, man.
Yeah,
Tim Hardaway, man.
I could find a play in my every game in my career where I tried to do something. Each one, and Dominique Wilkins was the other one, and that each one of them dudes did, I could find you a play that I emulated from them. Crossover, spin move, reverse, fade away, all kind of stuff I was trying. And but that's how I developed as a player. I didn't have a trainer. We didn't know what that was back there. Our trainers was the concrete. You know what I mean? It was the concrete. That was our trainer.
I don't even think they existed though. Back when we were playing, I don't think there was no trainers.
We never had cones. I don't remember any of that, AJ.
I didn't have a cone. Yeah.
Like we just hooped. And so, but my recruitment was light because back then Peoria had a bevy of talent, man. We had J.R. Koch was at Morton. He was at Iowa. We had a guy named Matt Moran who went to Northwestern. We had Sergio McClain, Marcus Griffin, Frank Williams, Brandon Hughes. Like it was loaded. So I was like,
but Illinois always got the best, some dogs. It was. I don't think Illinois don't get the credit it deserves. Illinois has animals coming out.
They don't understand it, and it just wasn't Chicago. Chicago was the hub. Yeah. But it was like it had trickled down to the southern parts of the state. Mark Rashaw was another one that was at Wisconsin. Yeah. And I was like the sixth best player out of all of them. Like, so they were coming to town to see Sergio, and I'll give Emmanuel 30. And that's where it was like, oh. Yeah. It's like, he can hoop. Yeah, they team better than he is right now, but he got something. So I tell them all the time, they sharpen me. Iron sharpens iron, man. And they created a monster. They really did. They don't even know it because every night I went home, I'm sleeping. I'm like, I got to figure out a way to kill these dudes. They can't guard me. You know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of how my journey went, man. So
I'm gonna tell you this, man. I'm gonna tell you, you are so futuristic of a player, man. You came too soon, bro.
Dude, I know, man.
If you would have came in this day and age, like if I'd have came in this day and age, man, we eat. Boy,
I tell them all the time. I try not to think about it because I'd be like, dang. But I tell people all the time, I was 10 years too early doing what I was doing. And
honestly, you were.
But what I do is I put it into the next kid, man, and have them try to help them develop all those skills so there aren't any regrets.
Hey, man, that's all I do too.
That's it.
Hey, but you said something funny when you were talking about like we done had cones. Hey, you should have said my first day individual workouts with Coach Knight, right? He's like, hey, Moye, we're gonna have you come off a flare screen. I said, Coach, what's that? He said, Moye, come off the down screen. I said, Coach, what's that? He said, come off the back screen. What's that? And then Coach said, AJ, you don't know no screens? I said, Coach, you saw me in high school. All they did is 1-4. Like, that's all we did. We went 1-4 for me. I'm at the top. I had all 4 people down, and I just went to work. He said, man, I thought y'all were doing that because y'all needed some buckets. I said, no, that's how we score, Coach.
1-4 low. I love it. I had, people don't know. I had to be probably the first player ever under Bob Knight to have him run 1-4 low. Yeah. Like there were games where he just like, give him the ball. And that's like unprecedented. I wasn't there to watch Zeke play. I'm sure he might have been the other one. But
yeah, I know Zeke. Hey, you and Zeke.
But 1-4 low with Bob Knight, that's unheard of. And that's definitely something that happened. But let me ask you this. What eventually sold you on Indiana outside of Coach Knight, outside of the hoopla? When you came to campus?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was Coach Knight and Jeff. That was it. I didn't know. Hey, when I went on my visit, I didn't see anything. I didn't want to see anything. You can ask Coach Knight. All I did is I was in the gym all day, and then I was with Newt. I didn't see anything else. I was in the gym. I was with Newt. Because that's what I was gonna do when I was there, and when I was in college, that's all I did. I was in the gym while I was with Newt.
That's real. That's real. So let's speed up and go to your Indiana basketball career. What happened? I wasn't paying much attention back then. So what you didn't play? You played a lot, but not a lot of production the first 2 years. What was going on in the first 2 years?
I don't know, man. Like it's something strange happened, man. Like at the beginning of my sophomore year, like at the end of my freshman year, I was starting and doing good. Okay. And then at the beginning of my sophomore year, I was averaging like 15 over the first like 6 games, 5, 6 games. And then something happened, man. I don't know. I can't know, man. You know, I mean, I remember after my last game there, Coach Davis said some heartfelt stuff to me in front of the whole team. He said, you know, Moye, you're the hardest working player I ever coached. And, you know, he apologized. He said, hey, if I could do some things differently, I would have. And this, that. And that took a lot out of him. Like, that take a man to say that to someone. So I appreciated that. But, you know, that's the one thing I feel like I love my career. I love the things I was able to accomplish, the wins I was able to be a part of. Like, I was a part of a lot of great history at Indiana.
Absolutely.
But I don't think the people got to see me play. You know, because then as opposed to like when I was a pro, I was MVP 2 times. I was Defensive Player of the Year 3 times. I was an All-Star every year. You know, I was always one of the top 2 or 3 scorers in the league. So I got to be myself as a pro. Yeah. But in college, it was like, it was just, you know, it's strange, man. It's different, you know, because my first 2 years we had Jared Jeffries. And so we had to play through Jared. Absolutely. I ain't knocking that. I'm not knocking that at all. But it was weird. I was starting and then I wasn't starting. Yeah. And I can't tell you why. I don't know. You know, and that's how my career was. I start sometimes, and sometimes I come off the bench. Yeah. You know, the only year I got to like be a starter like pretty much every game was my senior year. Okay. So, but I was always in the game, like at the end of the game, and Coach Davis knew that's when I cared the most anyway. So right. I kind of just let it be. But you know, and then I'm a type of player where I just want to win. So the games when I got to get 20, I'll get 20. The games I got to get 15, 16 rebounds, I'll do that. The games I got to get 6, 7 assists, I'll do that. The games I got to get a lot of steals or defensive blocks, I'll do that. Yeah. You know. And then I guarded everything alive. You know, I guarded D Wade, I guarded Devin Harris, I guarded Zach Randolph, I guarded Brian Cook. I guarded anything, anytime we played. So that was the cool thing.
And that happens to a lot of, especially stars. We are all stars coming out of high school, but sometimes you get in those teams. And you know, my freshman year, you know, I thought I was going to be a role player myself. I'm coming in just to be a part of the team, but at the end of the day, you know, your star roles, and you some get an opportunity to overcome that. But in your situation, you was a star, 5-star, and then you for the purpose of the team.
But then the thing was too, I was a 5-star under the coach that I was a 5-star. You understand? Right. Yeah. Like I was brought by Coach Knight to play. Right. Yeah. You know? That's true. Like, that's true. I would tell you about like when I was a freshman, he told me, he said, yo, I'm riding with you, and you know, it's gonna be this, you know, basically. Mm-hmm. So I was under a whole nother impression.
Yeah.
And then when they changed and leadership came, it became something. It
So
became something different. You know, I'm
right.
not knocking it.
Yeah, you're not knocking
I was
it.
never able.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was never able to be me. Like I was never able to play like me. And so that's the thing. Like when at the end of the year, when I went to all my draft workouts and I'm killing these people in workouts, and all the teams were talking, they're like, "Hi, how come you didn't show this in college?" I said, "I couldn't." Like
right.
they didn't. Like if they don't let me, like how can I do it?
Right.
If a coach says, "I don't want you to do that," or "I'm gonna take you out," well then you got to kind of do what they. Yeah.
You're a walking story for the young kids, because now what they do is they just transfer. Like that it's no fight, no perseverance.
No, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight.
They transfer. So that's how it used to be handled, man. You just figure out a way to fit in.
But like how it is, especially overseas. You know how it is.
Oh, absolutely.
Guys will quit in a heartbeat and go join the next team.
Absolutely.
I was a guy, I always stuck with it. Like so, I played 9 years. Out of my 9 years, maybe 3 of them were difficult.
Yeah.
Like 3 of them, my coach got fired, and then I had a new coach, or I had a coach that just we didn't vibe with. But whatever that coach wanted me to do, I always did it because I believe that's how teams work. Teams work. I mean, he's the coach for a reason. I got to try to fulfill whatever it is he wants to put forward and do it like that.
It's all worth it when you have a run like you guys had to the Final Four. So it don't even matter. I don't care who doing what. Let's get it done. And tell me a little bit about that team and what was the key. Do you remember a turning point where you guys went from good to great?
Now I'm gonna tell you this, man. We believe this, man. I know Dane Pfeiffer said, Hornsby will say it, Coverdale said it, Odell say it, Jared Jeffries, Newton, Leach, Perry, everyone, they'll say it on down the line is that, Dane Pfeiffer especially gonna say it, but our practices were so competitive, AJ. I'm talking about even our open gyms, like in the off season, they were competitive. Like they used to be fights. Like me and Dane Pfeiffer got in a fight. I mean, Odell might have tuned all us up, Derek Jeffries got in a fight one time. So everyone got in a fight. So that shows me that we just love winning and we love to compete. So we always knew that we just need to get over the hump. And I remember we played Illinois at Illinois, right? And we lost a tough one down the stretch. And I rolled my ankle to the point where it was just terrible. Like I couldn't even barely walk. But I played anyway. And Dane Fife talked to me after the game. He said, "Hey," he called me Fish. I don't know why. Dane called everybody some weird name.
Something crazy, man.
Something crazy. He called me Fish, but he said, "Fish, you're ready now." He said, "You're ready now. We're going to go on a run. Watch. We're going to go on a run." He said, "You're ready now. We're going to go on a run." And we just went on a run from that point on. But Fife, I think Fife had to be like the heartbeat of our team, like the pulse. And Jared Jeffries was like the head of the snake, right? And Coverdale was the heart. Like we all had bits and pieces of the team, right?
Right.
And the thing we loved about our team was that team that year, we didn't care who did it. Like if somebody got it going, they got the ball. Like, hey, Jeffries was riding, we was rolling. We was gonna feed it to Jared every time because Jared made good decisions.
Right.
But he moved the ball. Hey, Hornsby was on, all of us looking for Hornsby. Cubs got it going, all of us screening for Cubs. Fife got it going, we all baseline screening for Fife. I got it going, they're gonna hit me and let me get it in bunches, right? Newt's working, we gonna give it to Newt. George Leach got the left hook going, we giving it to George. Like, so all we want to do is win. Odell, like I remember that Duke game, Odell might have had 10, 12 points to start the second half. Yeah. We just riding. We going to him. Like we didn't care. Like whoever had it going was gonna get it, and we were just trying to win.
Right. It's two things I remember about that team. One was y'all had to be the first team, one of the first 2 teams in the history to wear Nike. And that was just fabulous because I was able to get some good Nike gear from
Yeah.
That's one. But also I used to be so mad watching because I'm watching Dane Fife shoot 40-45% from 3. I'm watching Coverdale just just destroy point guards. I'm like, where was this at?
Cub can't get 1 second.
Where was this at when I was in school? What was y'all? Come on, Dane. Like,
I'm gonna tell you this though. And here's the beauty of Coach Davis. And here's the beauty of Coach Treelor and the beauty of Coach McDonald and the beauty of having a coach like Jim Thomas. So Jim Thomas did it. You know what I mean? He did it. He got the title, worked hard. So he would tell us, you know, things like during practice, hey, we're not going to win like that. You know, Coach McDonald, he would work with all us on the personal development side. So we'd all work with him individually. He'd get us right. Coach Treelor, man, he was like the pulse. Like, he kept us going. So before every game, he used to just have the craziest things. I remember one time he had us watching the Bulls. He made a mash-up video of the Bulls, and he's just showing us Ron Harper and Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, Randy Brown, showing us how they defend full court and their dogs and their animals. And he like, look in their eyes. I remember before we played Duke, the Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas fight, right?
Yep.
And it's a moment, right before Buster Douglas catch Mike Tyson, and he paused it, and he show his eyes, and Buster's like this, right? And he's just looking like he's about to snatch the soul out of Mike.
Yeah.
You see that look in his eyes? That's the look we gotta have. That's the look you gotta look
just
him
like
in their
him
eyes.
too.
And
you sound just like him too.
And you go out there, Moye, and you just kick their ass.
That is hilarious. You sound just like him too.
And then Coach Davis, man, offensively, man, he's a genius, man. Coach Davis is an offensive genius, man. He watches so much. I don't think people understand how much he studies tape. So he studied San Antonio because they had Tim Duncan, right? Yeah. So he bit and pieced together our playbook kind of loosely based off of that. And so, man, he would have so many. Like, our plays were all reads. They weren't really necessarily plays. They were like, the ball goes there, we got this read, this read, this read. We pass here, then now it turns to another read, right? And so we got that down. And then so it's a culmination of all those coaches, a culmination of all of us being hard-wired, tough-minded people. And then the fact that Coach Knight said this to us, like, he said, like, once he found out he was getting fired, he said, hey, guys, stay together. He said, I know y'all going to be pulled in all different directions. He's like, but stay together. He says, I'm telling y'all. He said, a giraffe could coach this team to the Final Four.
Absolutely.
That's what he said. He said, you guys are all bits and pieces. He said, the way I got y'all together, y'all can still get to the Final Four.
Right.
And that's what he said. And then we went out and did it. So I mean, that's it's like the credit for us going to that Final Four and the championship. That goes to Coach Knight, Coach Davis, Coach Treelor, Coach McDonald, Coach Thomas, you know, and us as players. So it was a group effort. It was a lot of fun, man.
Absolutely. Hey, so I know you've done this a lot in your time, but I need you to walk us through the infamous block play. I need you to walk me through it, man. I haven't heard it from you. I've read tons of articles. I'm tired of reading them. I'm tired of seeing the Sports Illustrated picture. I want to know from the time they brought that ball up the court what you was thinking, because people don't know. It's a lot that go through players' minds on a basketball. It's so much y'all got
to understand. Like in that second half, right? So Oda kind of started it off, right? And now we get like a 20-point lead down to like 9 or 10, and like so we're playing, and then I think I might have scored like 8 out of 10. Jeffrey's got the putback. So now it's like a tie game, and I see we're scrambling on defense, and I see Dane Fife rotating over to go try to challenge Carlos Boozer.
Right.
So I jump up, and I'm so hyped. My thing is I'm going up, and I'll be honest, I'm thinking I'm going to tear this joker Carlos Boozer's head off, and he's going to have to go to the line. But he's not about to dunk this. But then when I jump, I just keep going up, and I'm like, man, I'm up there, and then Carlos goes to dunk, and I'm like, I'm thinking I should foul him, but then I just keep going up.
I'm here.
I'm like, I'm way over the top of him. Then I just grab it with one hand, and instead of block it, I just sit him back down on the ground, right?
Right.
And then after that, I lost my mind, bro.
That was crazy.
I wasn't like I was playing the rest of the game, but I don't think I was on the floor the rest of the game, man. I was just, it's not every day you get to block an NBA All-Star.
Absolutely.
6'9", 250-pound NBA All-Star.
Big shout out to Carlos Boozer, NBA All-Star, Duke Player of the Year, All-American, all of that. But for that moment, changed the complexion of that basketball game, and everybody knew what was going to happen after that. Everybody knew. It just it was written. Like that's that moment.
Hey, this podcast was so good, we had to break it up in 2 parts. Tune in tomorrow for the second part of our conversation.